Welcome to Detroit Prepping. Today I don't have a subject or a topic, so I'm going to talk about a lot of things. First, I'd like to talk about some of the problems with our Commander-in-Chief. Now, for 2+ years, I've been listening to his stance on my God-given right to protect myself with a firearm, a crossbow, a sword, a squirt gun, if I feel that will keep my life and my family's life from being taken. Now, I've heard a lot of people comment about his attacks on the Second Amendment, and most of them I agree with. As a matter of fact, every action that man has taken against the Second Amendment, I am against. But maybe to give it some perspective, I think a lot of us are expecting a man who has no concept of what it means to live in this world as a law-abiding citizen, an average Joe. See, when somebody tells President Trump he can no longer own a firearm, it's not a problem for him to hire 10 men with firearms. Now, when they tell me I cannot own a firearm, I have no one to turn to for my protection. Because I think back to a few situations I've had over the years. I'll talk about just one today. After a rental property of mine had been set afire by the tenants and their family, I went to the location, and the first thing the tenants wanted from me was money. They wanted me to pay for them a place to live. They wanted me to pay for their transportation of personal items. And when the insurance company arrived, their greed only grew. I had a verbal altercation with a gentleman I had never met before, which quickly turned to him demanding to know where the white man was. Now, I had walked off and made some phone calls so that I could get some help over there boarding up the property and find out the feasibility of rebuilding. Now, once he found me outside, he demanded money. He demanded money on the spot. And if I would not give him that money, he would take it from me. Now, his plan was to take this money from me at the end of a bottle that had been broken off. And the only thing that saved me in that 10 seconds I had was the barrel of my .45 Glock pointed at his head. Now, I didn't have time to call the police. I didn't have time to wait for them to arrive. I didn't have time to give him verbal commands and try to reason with him. I had less than 15 feet to decide whether I would allow him to take my life. Now, with the barrel of a .45 Glock pointed in his face, I .45 caliber Glock pointed in his face. He decided to no longer be aggressive towards me. And with that action, I decided to spare his life. Now, I understand the sadness, the helplessness that people feel when such terrible things as mass shootings happen. But I can assure every one of those people who have suffered a great loss, you asking for your rights to be taken away will not make you safer. I don't know how I can convey to anyone the importance of self-defense. Because in the example I just gave, it would have been impossible for me to save my own life with a phone call, with a kind gesture of giving this man every penny in my pocket. See, the only thing that saved my life that day, and the life of my cousin standing next to me, was me. I think if more people took the time to realize 5 minutes is a long time when a criminal or a terrorist is trying to take your life. Now, I don't know how anyone could ever stand in front of a TV camera and ask a government who is unable to, at any time in history, protect your life day to day, to take away your only option to defend you and your family. I can't imagine the man or woman who would defend an unconstitutional act or law against citizens of this great republic. Now, see, I don't have much in this world, but what I do have is the hope and the knowledge that my child, my children, will have the same opportunity that every man and woman had before them. The opportunity to be as great as they can imagine. Live the dreams that can only be lived in the society we have now today. How one person's crime can take away the rights of every man, woman, and child's God-given right is about as backwards of a notion as I have ever heard. I mean, that would be the same as if I went and robbed a bank and they arrested the person that lives 5 doors down. I mean, I have not committed a crime. Why am I being punished? I think people need to take a long, hard look at what they're asking to give up. Because once you've given it up, there's no turning back. my feelings are definitely that I would rather take my chances against five armed terrorists with my sidearm than take my chances against one terrorist and I didn't have a sidearm. I don't know what it's going to take to wake up the fellow like-minded people that may not be seeing clearly at this point. But I promise you this. You are a lot safer when your personal defense is in your own hands. I mean, they can't even keep the roads drivable. And I'm going to trust them to protect my life, my liberty? I mean, if anyone believes someone else cares more about your life than you do, I think you need to take a minute and reassess your beliefs. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll come back to my channel. And if nothing else, I hope you have a good day.